power pack session that we're going to have. And we have a very special guest. I'll start with the introduction, but we'll wait for a few seconds so that LinkedIn notification goes to all the audience and we have, maximum participation coming in. Uh, but yeah, before that, uh, just a conversation that what's going on, Vinar? What's going at your end? How are things going?
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me today. Today is my husband's birthday, as I mentioned earlier, but we are not partying. We are working, we are doing our things, and probably the weekend is going to be the birthday celebration for him and maybe for me because we're going to go out. So, yeah, that's what is happening. And I get to meet a lot of interesting people this week, so it was pretty fun.
Amazing, amazing. So, as I said, wish him birthday from my side and all the audience side as well.
Sure.
And I think we are live now. Many people have joined in. So, I'll start with the introduction. So, we have with us today Mrinal Pe Charcha. She is a community management expert. She has been associated with Quora in the past. She has a very prolific profile, professional experience to say the least. And she is an amazing content creator as well, creating content on LinkedIn. So, it's a pleasure to be hosting you. Thank you so much, Mrinal.
Thank you so much, Rahul. I had attended your lives earlier. I had been an audience, and I'm totally stoked to be here. And hello, everybody who is watching the live or probably going to watch it later on. So, yeah, very excited to have this conversation with you.
Amazing. And people who are watching this, feel free to comment down your questions regarding LinkedIn community, personal branding. If you have any kind of questions in that space, feel free. And we'd also love to know your names. Whoever is watching would love to greet you all. And hi, Anurag. We have a hello from him. So welcome to the
Hello,
live.
Razak.
So yes, I'll start off with my first question. Take us to your first day on LinkedIn. How did it all start? And what has changed over a period of time?
Oh my God, my first day on LinkedIn. It is, it is like, it is 2009. I was in my college, and one of my brand teachers, like brand communication teachers, have actually set us on lab, and he said, "Okay, guys, open your LinkedIn." And we were like, "What is LinkedIn?" This was like 2009, or I guess like 2010. This was just, Orkut was fading away, Facebook was coming, like very trendy, hot, and LinkedIn was happening, and also Twitter, right? Like, so I think it was 2010 or 2009 when I actually signed up for LinkedIn, and I was this girl who really wanted to just like prove it to her teacher, even though I was not like I was not a topper, but like I was like so so on point, like just wanted to like create my persona and everything. And back in the day, I think LinkedIn posts used to be these puzzles, and I
Mhm.
remember I used to do all those random things, and absolutely um, do not use LinkedIn for networking, but it's just like spam posting everything. So somewhere in, I guess, 2012, and this is right after my my campus placement. I was campus placed in Taracom, and one of my manager actually saw my LinkedIn profile. He saw what I do at Taracom, and I got an internal job posting, and he said this very important thing to me: your LinkedIn profile is you out there on the internet. What you do on your personal social media website doesn't matter. LinkedIn is where you actually get your job. So you need to be your best self. And that's when I stopped spamming. I started using LinkedIn just for business. Thanks to LinkedIn, I like my first 2 years was just text-based account management, and I did a lot of cold emails, cold in mails. And that time, I think there wasn't that much of restriction. You can actually like do emails or do messaging or do connect to people. And I wouldn't say like I connected to a lot of people, but I did a lot of profiling of my potential clients in
Right.
2012, and I think majority of like 2012 to 2014. And then I became a key account manager, and I was like, I forgot about LinkedIn, and I only came to LinkedIn when I'm announcing a promotion, or I'm announcing say a job change, or if I'm like looking for something. So I precisely came only, I guess, like only for writing, either asking for reference when somebody is leaving, asking for reference, or just if I have to like profile a client. But like I never saw it as a content platform. And That's when I think Quora happened in like 2016. I started being very active on Quora. LinkedIn at that time was still, people were writing and there was still like a LinkedIn editorial, but it was very intimidating for somebody like me who was so underconfident about her writing that I felt like, okay, LinkedIn is not for me.
Right.
It is good for me, in terms of like finding jobs and things like that, but not really for me in terms of, creating some sort of, and I was not creating personal brand any which ways. I just want to like ensure that my English gets fixed. Like when I say English
Mm.
gets fixed, I was really poor in communication. I Even though I was from sales and I had like a bachelor's degree, an honors degree in English literature, I was very underconfident about how to really write with brevity and this absolutely good structure. Um, so I really felt that that was not for me. And back then, like, there was top voices and there are still top voices, but it's like now there are so many more categories in top voices, right?
Right.
So I think somewhere in 2021, if I'm not wrong, one of my former manager actually joined LinkedIn, and that's when I started realizing, what, I saw one of her viral posts, and that's when I realized that maybe I should write on LinkedIn too. And
Right.
I actually started writing on LinkedIn from February 2022, and now we are here in March 2023. And I think I spent an embarrassing amount of time on LinkedIn. So yeah.
Right. Right, right, right. And first of all, it's hard to imagine that your communication skills were not that good or you were underconfident. So I think LinkedIn has played a major role there. That has helped you and has helped so many people, I would say. And we all start the similar way. I think we started as a job, platform to just put your profile and
Yeah,
apply for jobs,
yeah.
and then slowly we realize the power of LinkedIn and the how how strong it is in terms of
Oh,
getting clients
100%.
and
Even
networking.
LinkedIn Learning, I think a lot of people don't talk about it,
Yeah.
but I have I have realized that I only have a premium account just for LinkedIn Learning. I think this is
Mm.
like and this is what I realized when last year when I was in LinkedIn Creator Accelerator program, they gave us the premier accounts, and I realized that how much I've learned over 6 months when I got that access. And I think anybody who is right now trying to learn, trying to network, trying to understand an upskill, just get the account, just see like how it goes, and use those emails and use those learning assets. And you mentioned about it's very funny that you mentioned about that. You I don't look like somebody who was underconfident and do not have that
Not
communication
at all.
skill.
Not even 1%.
I have to give a huge credit to the community. And when
Mm.
I say community, I'm not just like flattering, because community has been my bread and butter for last 5 years. I think when community is vulnerable to you, right, like that, I also make this small minor mistakes in like how I use has have, or present perfect tense and things like that. Those are
Right.
the things that other people relate to. And
Mm.
then they mentioned that hey, when you are talking in a flow, you think language is actually, um it's very comforting to just
Mm.
communicate. Sometimes when you're communicating, you just have to pass on the message. If you get too critical and get intimidated, you will never be able to converse with somebody else. And I think community just took away that whole pressure of me, that you have to be perfect. You just have to be yourself. So I
Right.
think so that's why I never felt like I was working whenever I work with communities. I felt like I'm just chilling. I'm like having fun with people, just being myself, learning from them. So I think this is the best kind of role that you can imagine.
Absolutely, and a great point about LinkedIn Learning. I've personally done, experienced that, and it's a gold mine for all the learners out there for upskilling, for basic learning, and all of that. It has all kinds of courses, and I'll come to the community part. That's something that I'm very intrigued about. So we have a lot of hellos from Mitali, Amit, Dipesh, Rameshwar, Anshuman, Sunil. Hi
Hello.
guys, welcome to the live. So yes, coming to the community part now, we all know how important community has become, and is becoming more and more important with the passing days and months. So, what are some of the tips that you would like to give to all the creators who are looking at building a community? Because we all know, I mean, opportunities drive out of communities, and all the any kind of opportunity, whether it be networking, clients, eventually bringing in revenue. So what would be your takeaways on that?
I know, just like creator economy, I think community is like an exhausted word, and I hang out in community circles a lot. And as I mentioned, we were just talking about it before the live that I was hanging out with these very interesting people from like-minded community, from like different communities, and I think one of the things that I realize that I always go back to the experience that I have. Right, in
Mm,
sales, there is a cardinal rule: um, your existing clientele gives you the majority of business. It's very easy to retain your existing clientele than having like acquire new ones. And
correct.
community works in the same play. So whenever you are launching, say, a product, or there is a buzz around build in public for last 2 years around the startup ecosystem. Why people are building in public? Just think about it. Building in public gives them instant feedback. They are not waiting and they are not pushing their money right away. So they are getting instant feedback, instant research. They're also getting a community that is excited for the product to be launched because they feel that they were part of something that is getting launched. So I think, from if you see community from that perspective, it is good. Just just stop thinking that your followers are your community. There are people who are your cheerleaders, but followers are just a number.
Right.
People who cheer you, people who are standing with you, people who are telling you that, hey, listen, I think if you're like, I remember that last year when I was doing a lot of videos, a lot of people messaged me, okay, not even on comment threads, like messaged me and said that, Mrinal, if you could just like put the subtitles a little lower than your fabric, I think it will look better.
Right.
Every single video I see that progression happening, and that is the community that we are talking about. And same goes with, say, platforms and businesses when they are trying to build community, especially even the creators who have these massive followings. When they're trying to build a community, try to see who are retaining. The
Mm,
number is really good, but who are actually getting like influenced by you? Who are these people who are investing their time and they're ready to advocate for you? They are your
right.
real community. And I think, when it comes to community in general, I personally believe that the more diligent and more transparent you are with yourself, the better job that you do with your community. So you just have to be a voice between, what if you're a business, you have to be a voice, you have to have create a layer of somebody who could represent the community and
Right.
somebody who could represent the organization, and they need to be in sync. And let's say if you're a brand, same principle. You have to create this level of voice between these two things. So you need to have a feedback loop. If there is no
Mm,
feedback loop, don't preach it that it is a community. It is not a community.
right.
So yeah.
Absolutely. Some great points regarding community. And I see that I personally experienced this as well. As you said, I started with putting videos. I got a lot of feedback that audio is not proper, the background
Yeah.
music is loud. That's when I started realizing that, how important it is. And when I started off on LinkedIn, I used to connect with, creators who were already posting on the platform, and I used to ask them for feedback on my posts. I thought I won't get a good response, or I mean, I was under the impression that who has time for giving feedback to a newbie. But you won't believe I got paragraphs of feedback on LinkedIn DMs. And I still remember those people, and I still am grateful to those people, and I still like interact with them on either on comments, on DMs, and I've done live sessions with them in the past. So I think it builds over time, as you said, and you also need to give in efforts. I think because that's when they will also start reciprocating. And if you give in fake efforts, as you said, that being transparent is so important, because that's
Oh my
when the
God, yes.
real
Yes,
people will.
absolutely,
Uh,
absolutely. Two of my very close creator friends, and I know Anshuman have commented here, and Anshuman is on in the audience. Anshuman does this LinkedIn lives on Saturday. No matter where I am, whether I'm on road or something, I will always join his lives because there will be this plethora of people who are writing these questions very specific, and sometimes like he
mhm.
does these very hard topics. Saturday
Right.
morning, who would think that people would join in? But people join in, and that's
Mhm.
the community. Same goes with, say, I'm sure that you would have heard Jatin's audio lives, right? Jatin Sani
Yes.
is
Yes.
another creator friend. He brings this amazing vibe and energy in his audio lives. And the same thing goes, right?
Right.
Acknowledgement of people. The thing that you
Mhm.
did the first time that we went live, you read the names. Just some
Hmm.
sometimes like this acknowledgement is so important. You have to know, it doesn't matter how big you are, how big is your life, how many people are watching it, doesn't matter. Those five people have given us time. That's
Hmm.
important. That's your, that's your attention. And next time when you acknowledge them first, they again come back. um, because they either a they find value, b they find the respect that you are giving them with
Right.
the time, for the time that they are spending in here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think that's the biggest step towards community building. If you start
Absolutely.
respecting, start giving in, and without
Ab-
expecting anything, then the other
Absolutely.
people will definitely follow that.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So we have a few more hellos. Hi Sunil. Hi Amit. We have Narendra. We have a question from Amit. I'll take it up on the screen. Give us some tips to expand the network and how we could use it for the business.
Lovely question, Amit. I am very pro profit, pro business. My whole entire career, even if it has been about communities, I have done a ton of businesses for my previous organizations. And I can tell you, one of the biggest thing that you can do being on LinkedIn is figure out who are the right people that you want to connect for the kind of business. That don't go by the generic suggestions of, okay, expand your network, because once your 30,000 connects are out, you're done. So
Hmm.
you can't like, you can't just like exhausting. So keep your list of connection very slim, but at the same time make sure that, even if you do not, if you're not, even if you're not a creator, you can still use LinkedIn very in a very optimal way. That's what I did until like 2021. I was
Right.
only using LinkedIn for connecting with the right people. They give you opportunities, you reach out to them, you set up calls. So I, even though I have my full-time consulting gig, I have bunch of things going here and there, I still ensure that I send a minimum of 5 cold emails, and meet at least one or two people, in general, new people, brand new
Hmm.
people, every week, if not two, at least one. And then I
Hmm.
ensure that I meet this one person again within a quarter. And these
Hmm.
people are from my industry. So some, and you don't do it for the business at like, nobody likes a sales pitch all the time. So don't talk about your business right away. Hear them out, because people love talking, and people love listeners.
Right.
So ensure that happens, especially if you are the one who is trying to initiate. If somebody else is doing it, you have your ground clear, you can do, because that's how it is played around. But just be patient around that. Once you have a pipeline for 3 months, start figuring out who are these people that I can set up business with. And I know at sales, because I've worked in quota systems, I know how hard it is for every quarter. But that's why you forecast, you ensure that you have your pipelines created. The first 3 months, or the first, I think 4 5 months of my job, I didn't have like business, and then I was hitting quota every year because I had that pipeline created for myself. So
Hmm.
do that hard work and put that hard work in. And it is now getting more and more easier, because people are ready to connect. I mean, imagine the time when I was doing sales in 2012, people were not even on LinkedIn. So
Right.
I have to get my business leads from Europe and US, because
Hmm.
folks in India were not there, and I have to like get these ISP business leads. And it was very challenging for me. So I just like pivoted my market. So hopefully this answers your query, Amit. And that will be my
Yes.
number one tip. Just ensure that 5 mails, um, and you can do it with like LinkedIn's email. LinkedIn hasn't paid me for sending, like talking about their LinkedIn Learning and Pro account. Just
Yeah.
telling.
Yeah, yeah, perfect, perfect. I think that answers, and Amit is saying thanks for the answer.
Yes.
So that is great. And I think in this, it's very important to identify the target persona, as you very rightly said,
Yeah.
that who is your prospect, who is your customer. And second most important thing, I mean, I see a lot of DMs on LinkedIn directly starting with the sale. I mean, no
Yeah.
one will pay attention to that, because
Yeah.
I mean, first introduce yourself, start a conversation, and then maybe down the line you can just pitch in that, okay, I'm
Yeah.
doing this, and would you like to collaborate? And that's how the whole thing starts, I
Also
think.
don't do like fake flatter. Fake flatter
Hmm.
doesn't work, especially like
Hmm.
if, like, I remember somebody writing to me that I love your financial tips, and I was like, oh my god, let me know what kind of financial tips I have given you, because I
Ye
need
kab hua?
one. So that has like, like, so So don't do template responses, because
Yeah.
people usually get so many, especially like creators like us, we get a
Hmm.
ton of messages. We don't want to sound rude, but at the same time, like it's just very disrespectful when you are sending a template response, because people are connected and they send each other those screenshots that like
Correct.
why this person is spamming the entire list of say 200 people that we know, and
Yes.
that you don't want to do that. You want to
Hmm.
do connection with people who really matter, even if you're an aspiring creator, if you're an aspiring copywriter, advertiser, brand, whosoever you are. Try to be
Right.
little empathetic and try to custom your messages. I know like time is short, but like that's why AI is here, right? Like it will make
Yes.
you a template. Like do a
Yeah.
little bit of hard work in there. And I saw that Amit also mentioned that how do we find the right connections, and talking about connecting over the DMs, Rahul. I think one of the easiest way to do about is use the filters that LinkedIn has provided on the filter section, right?
Hmm.
More Consulting by Jerry Lee have these amazing tips and advices that you can actually go to their Instagram or LinkedIn handle and can see. They have done this very well in terms of like how would you identify. So let's say you have an aspiring company. First of all,
Hmm.
don't like God worship one company, because you know what kind of state we are in right now. But let's say you are very ambitious towards a certain sector of a certain section of companies. Figure out, connect with people, try to understand how their profile looks like, how getting an entry would look like, right?
Hmm.
And understand. And I have pivoted my career from being a telecom salesperson to getting into consumer internet tech with a community building. It doesn't happen just out of the blue, right? Like it requires certain set of attitude and skill set, and it is not always like entire core skill set, but some skill set.
Hmm.
So
Correct.
understand that. Don't blindly like send connections and blindly apply, or blindly do your hunting. Use it smartly is
Correct.
what I would recommend.
Absolutely. And in this, I have one more point. Like basically, I think in 2020, Web of Sissinti's course came in on
Yeah,
LinkedIn, and a lot of people joined in. Like literally, almost everyone who wanted to be a LinkedIn creator joined in. And obviously, he will show some templates, and a lot of courses show some templates. A lot of people blindly just copied it, which was
yeah,
not the purpose of that workshop or what he was trying to say. That I mean, he can only give examples, but adding that personal touch
yeah,
is the job that
yeah,
we have to do. And one golden tip for all the people who are watching this, which I'd like to say based on my personal experiences, what I found out is I started sending audio notes on DMs. Right? What that does is, I mean, I got a response rate of 98%, which is like almost everyone used to reply because when you get an audio note out of the blue on LinkedIn DMs, you feel like, kya bheja kya hai? Sunne to
yeah.
sahi.
Oh my God,
And
yes, yes.
yes,
Such a
and
such a cool point. Such a cool point. I'm definitely stealing that.
absolutely, and I started getting replies also in audio note, and they used to say that this is the first time I've ever got an audio note, and feels good that someone is taking efforts, and from there the conversation starts very easily because
Yeah.
you have already established that first good impression in the other person's mind.
Yeah, because people understand that it's not a mass note, right? I remember
Yes.
somebody said that, they got a video resume. And
Huh.
I'm like, oh my God, that's such a cool thing. I would never
Yes.
ignore a video resume. I know that there are certain applications where you can't, where you have no way of doing a video resume. But imagine if you have, I mean, I would highly recommend just like set it up, put it on your Zoom. You don't have to be fancy, but do it. Like, it will get you somewhere. I think it is very creative how people are now reaching out
Absolutely.
and
And I
approaching
saw
people.
one post, like recently I saw this post wherein a person had posted a video resume same on LinkedIn post,
Yeah,
and he had asked for help. There were 1,000 plus likes and 500 plus comments on that single post.
yeah,
And I am sure a lot of job recruiters would have reached out to him. And then there are other set of people who like struggle on Naukri.com and start cribbing that kuch ho nahi raha and nothing is
right.
working out. But I think the whole mindset is that, I mean, if nothing is working out, you are not trying enough,
Yeah, yeah.
maybe because there are opportunities online.
Yeah. And I feel like most of the, and this is a reality, and this is a very harsh reality. You have to understand that, putting your resume on portal and just like clicking on apply is a
Hmm.
very lazy tactics in 2023. most important thing that you need to do right now is you have to heavily invest in networking. And when I say networking, as I mentioned earlier, don't do wrongful networking. um,
Mm.
Most of the people that I know in my circle, and including like my own experience, I don't think like, a lot of time like we have to hustle a lot in terms of getting that opportunity, because we have already hustled a ton in ensuring that we have built up that network around us that will help us with those opportunities, be it
Right.
business, be it job, be it any kind of an opportunity. Sometimes,
Mm.
you will be wondering that, why only this set of people are getting all these fancy opportunities, why only this set of people are coming on lives, and because of networking. That's
Correct.
how, that's the whole golden rule, that's how the ball rolls. So if you want to be in that circle, make an effort to be in that circle, be authentic, be
Right.
yourself, but at the same time try to polish yourself with every single week. Don't just like do what you were doing on day 1 on day 30, because that won't help.
Very right. Very right. Absolutely. So I'm just saying I find LinkedIn more authentic and transparent than FB. I think FB, I mean, no one uses for content as of now. I mean, as far as I know, I think it's only the Facebook groups that is active and all that. What's been your experience of FB?
So as I said, like I'm like an old Facebook person. I have always kept it very private. It's for
Mm.
it's for putting up like family albums and making sure that my dad is able to see it and like tag it
Yeah.
or whatever. But to Facebook's credit, there are still a lot of communities that I go back to. So there are few communities. So for instance, there is a product management community that I still log in on Facebook just for that community. There is
Mm.
another Facebook community for Harry Potter. I'm like subscribed to a lot of Potter pages, and
Right.
they write like a lot of fan pages and fan fiction, and they're very intense communities and a lot happening in there. So I basically log in for those particular communities, and I
Mm.
think Facebook still have that in it, because there is a
Right.
whole section of people who still need to get educated to be like, not like LinkedIn is not for everyone. Let's say,
Mm.
imagine I don't have a job, I'm just a gardener, right? Like, let's say I have retired, I'm a gardener, and I only want to talk about gardening. I don't have in my audience on LinkedIn, right? Like I have my
Right.
audience probably on Facebook. So it completely depends who you are, what you're talking, and how you're building your community. And I think, to Facebook's credit, I think a lot of people still have a good running business. I think, I mean, I'll be undermining if I say anything wrong about Meta's whole
Yeah.
company, and they are doing really good. We like sometimes, from a very micro level we think, at a macro level we think that, oh, the company might not be doing good, just
Mm.
because of our blind spot of what all that business can do. So
Right.
I think from that standpoint, I feel like, I think it's still successful. I think it's pretty phenomenal what they have built in like such a small time. So
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. And I'm running meta ads for so many brands, and I've seen brands build out of meta ads, and they are so dependent on meta ads, and it is bringing results. I mean, we talk about iOS updates, and a lot has
Yeah.
changed in meta ads and all of that. Facebook algorithm has changed because I personally in 2011, I mean, I used to spend most of my time on Facebook, but
Right.
that went to Instagram, then LinkedIn, then Twitter. So the behavior has changed. But again, as you said, Facebook groups is a very high potential community platform,
Absolutely.
because even
Absolutely.
if you type for salsa, for any kind of art, for any kind of profession, you'll find a lot of groups for any kind of city as well. There are city-based groups as well, where you
Yes.
find all the updates and all of that.
I mean, like I have sold furniture to like getting a roommate on Facebook, so I
Yeah.
have been very pro. But at the same time, people are right now. Obviously, there is not much awareness about Web3, but I think like just like how ChatGPT have just like disrupted everything. I think Web3 is there. It's not
Right.
disrupting anything, but it will disrupt something. Is what
Right.
I am like. I don't want to like be quoted for this if it bombed, but I genuinely feel that, in the future, in next 5 to 10 years, and 5 to 10 years is like a gross estimation.
Mm. Mm.
But I think there will be a version of Web3 that will just like blow up and will democratize this whole power of that you're talking about Facebook ads, right? That will
Mm.
democratize, and I think many companies are slowly moving towards that direction, speculating what is going to happen, and that's why I think there is so much of investment going on. into technology at this point in time.
Right, absolutely. And there's this whole talk I was having, in my previous lives as well. This has been a constant question about updates in technology. Is it a risk or is it a fear and all of that? But I generally feel that, I mean, technology has to update. You can't stop that
Yeah,
because,
yeah,
I mean, today it's Chat GPT, then Chat 4, then Chat 6 will come, Chat 12 will come. It will keep updating and advancements will come. But I think LinkedIn specifically, if we start, creating content and building a base on LinkedIn,
yeah.
then that self doubt and fear, at least that will go off the picture, because LinkedIn has so many opportunities that I can say that I'm sure you will agree that 6 months of consistency and you are all set for many.
Absolutely, 100%. If anybody is right now planning to create their LinkedIn content, definitely follow Rahul. He does amazing
Thank you.
on his content. And like give yourself a self challenge. You don't have to like
Hmm.
speak it out loud. I did one in like October, which was called as Pentober or something, which was like a crazy form of Inktober. But I was penning every day, and I remember I have my own brother-in-law's wedding, and I was posting from that day. Not recommended, but I was committing to like a challenge, and I was doing it. It was fun. Honestly, it was fun, and I think I wrote garbage on that one day. But I was still very happy to like at least like not miss a day and not miss a streak. It's like running every day, right? Like it's
Yes.
very similar. It has that dopamine effect. And talking of AI, Rahul, I think I am very, I this probably like really make few people angry, but I'm very pro AI. I'm very pro Chat GPT, very pro every generative technique that is out there. And the reason for it, it actually help you, save so much of your time. It's very
Hmm.
empowering, extremely,
Right.
extremely empowering. But at the same time, don't copy, like don't copy paste of
Correct.
like whatever it is giving you, right? Sprinkle your personality a little bit. And I also feel like AI should not dumb you down. AI is good for learning some things. Like for instance, if I need to learn something, what I used to do, right? Like I used to go to Google and like figure out glossary and figure out what does this particular word to mean, right? Let's say what like last week I was checking like what does hot jar mean and heat maps mean, right?
Right.
um, which is very very relevant to my industry, and I was like blanking out what does that mean. So for that
Hmm.
kind of learning, I think AI is really good, but like obviously cross check because sometimes like the results could be very different. But it's a very good learning experience. Ask it to be your interviewer. There is
Hmm.
just so much that you can do with AI. Just like don't think it's just for content. It is for so many other things. I mean, I don't have to think about what needs to be cooked in my house because like it will give a meal out plan for, not that I have to
Right.
take care of it. I've given my dad the whole record, and I ask him like go create meal plan if you want to. um
Right.
but you can outsource so many things from there. So yeah, I think that way I feel like I'm very pro AI and pro.
Same. I share the same opinion, and even people who are watching this, I highly promote this, that people in your circle, if they don't know about AI, Chat GPT, like for example, my mom is a teacher. She was not aware about Chat GPT, and one day she was stressing out. She had to put in some remarks and fill in those sheets and all of that. She was like, "How will I write so many remarks?" I was like, "Use Chat GPT." So she was like, "What is this?" Then I explained her, "कि ऐसे करके you can create a basic plan,
So
and then you
good.
can curate out of that." So that is helping her. She's able to write mails and all of that. But again, I also saw some LinkedIn DMs जहाँ पे it is evident that they have used ChatGPT template. They are not. There are brackets still in the name part and all of
Oh,
that. But
oh.
I think that is awful. That really pisses the other person off. That you're not really taking any effort to
Yeah,
tweak it.
also like people who use GPT a lot, and especially like content creators, they use a ton of things, ton of tools.
Yeah,
So I can tell in a jiffy who have done what style they have used,
correct.
what content they have used. Because
Hmm.
I have like experimented with it a ton, especially because I consult on UGC products, and I have worked a little bit not on LLMs but like try to understand the industry in general. So I get it. I can catch it in a second if somebody have used a GPT or not. So
Right.
there are people like us, and if you are interviewing in tech industry, like make sure that you're not making that mistake. It will be very good that you're using a GPT, but like don't use it in a way that it can be like, okay, you're that lazy that you have just copy pasted something, so don't do that.
Correct, correct, absolutely. Now, in the end part, I'd like to cover Quora as well
Yeah.
because that is a platform that not many people are aware of, or not even when we are aware of. Like, I came across Quora in 2016, 17, around that time, and it's an amazing platform. Like, if you use it the right way. So, would love your tips on how creators can leverage that platform for building their brand.
So I think more than like creators, I think businesses, especially like very education awareness businesses, should use Quora for two
Mm,
reasons. One, they have brilliant SEO. I have left Quora last month, and I'm still such a huge advocate. It is in my DNA. I
right.
guess I have spent like almost like 5 years in there, worked in like multiple teams. And one of the crazy thing is that I think a lot of people confuse Quora as like a creator platform sometimes. Like even though I have worked in creator growth,
Mm,
I personally felt that there is a very small number of people who actually are based there to just like be a creator, because there are
mm,
not like active creator programs that are going on. Yes, there are
right.
sub communities, as I said, right? It's just similar to Facebook pages. There are similar like pages on Quora, and I only go to Quora for those pages. I only go to Quora for like my own personal blog, own personal writing, um, things that I cannot write on LinkedIn, things that I feel are too personal to be put on like a professional set. I am very vulnerable on LinkedIn as well, but there are certain things that are just like, oh, that's just too much information,
Mm,
very TMI kind of situation on LinkedIn. So that is when I use, especially like if I'm talking and bragging about how I how I have gone to Japan and like did this shopping, or like how was the food, or this particular movie that I have watched. I
right.
cannot write all and everything on LinkedIn, because, first of all, that will piss my audience off, who are
Mm,
really expecting me to like write about the industry and the community and the UGC platforms in general. But at the same time, like it will not do justice to me as well. So repurposing on your own risk. If you're a personal brand person, or let's say you are writing about copywriting tips or advertising tips or designing tips or sales tips, pick it up. Like, what do you really want from the platform?
mm,
Quora has like has amazing number of people out there. I go to like learn something very new. People go viral one day and then they will not like go viral, and the views could be very different. But I would suggest, if I have to suggest people why to use Quora, one thing is right to like unwind and right to like actually improve on some certain skill set, because people are extremely community is extremely kind, at least to me, like in my experience, because I had been a user before I became an employee. Like I started using Quora in 2016, and I joined as an employee in 2018. So like two
right.
years of like solid community ship. I'm still very close friends with a bunch of community members. They actually came to my wedding, that kind of close. I
Wow.
still hang out with them, and I feel like that think any platform per se is only good if you're seeing credibility, if you want to look yourself as a creator. But for businesses, for people who are just there to learn, they should write, and they should build their expertise so that you can create some bit of sample work. And I would
Mm,
say that is the same thing for any other platform that you go to, right? Well, and it completely depends on like what kind of an experience you have on the platform. Like for instance, Reddit communities are also very, very good, but they're also
mm,
intense. You can't like just go ahead and write. You have to earn certain bit of credits to like actually really, really start on Reddit, or have to figure out the subreddits that allow people who do not have credits, right?
right.
So those are the things that you have to really understand. Same goes with like say medium discoverability is very good for people who have started early. But like if you're starting right now, there are a lot of people in there, so there is a lot of competition. So any platform that you will start right now in 2023, there's already a lot of competition. So don't go with the
Mm,
mindset that you will get easy views.
right.
Because because when we talk about LinkedIn is again like you will find your network here, you will find your schoolmates here. It's like Facebook but for professionals, right?
Right.
So you are connecting to your circle first, and that will be an initial thing. But like other UGC platforms like Quora or Reddit or Medium, these platforms do not have people from your school always, right? Or the
Mm,
discoverability is very, very low. um
right.
So yeah, that would be my recommendation. But I would highly recommend businesses to start doing, especially BFSI, fintech, edtech. These platforms should do it because listen, if I want to like find a course or I want to like figure out something, I will go to many platforms to see and view videos, and I could scroll through my Instagram and see tips. But I will still go to Quora to just check like whether this makes sense or just to read reviews. So for
Mm,
reading reviews, it would be really good. Also for planning things, it would be really good. But the Quora also have its own app which has chat GPT 4. So if you don't know, it's called POE, and it is accessible on iOS and Mac. And not promoting, not
great.
endorsing, I'm not an employee anymore there. So but I highly recommend the app because it's super fast. It works wonder for me at least.
Great, great, great. So that's a new thing for me as well, and I'm sure for the audience as well. So just to confirm, it's POE.
Yes, it's POE.
POE.
And you can
Got it.
find it on iOS. It is available on, I think, on desktop as well. So poe.cora.com. You can check it out.
Got it.
And they have everything. They have they have like multiple bots. It's not just GPT-4. There is Sage, there's Claude, there's Claude Plus. And
Mm,
GPT-4, at least like one try, you can at least see the unlock the power of GPT-4. You can check like how amazing
right.
GPT-4 is. So if you
Right.
haven't been able to, like, you don't have a pro account, I would just highly recommend कि अभी जाके check कर लो. You never know. It
Yes.
can be like afterwards. It can be like expensive. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's a great piece of information. Thank you for that. Now, coming to the end part of the session, I do a rapid fire session.
Oh,
There's no gift hamper,
yeah.
unfortunately, but maybe down the line I'll introduce some NFTs or something like that, hopefully, to make it more interesting. But yeah, I'll ask a few questions and then you can, just whatever comes to your mind, and also we
Sure.
can explain why you
I'm
chose
nervous,
that
but
thing.
let's go about it.
Yeah. So my first question is, what is the most frustrating thing about LinkedIn for you?
um, I think
Honest
I think
answer.
that this, yeah, I think I'm usually very diplomatic, but I would try not to.
Yeah.
I think discoverability of really good content creators.
Mm,
I think they
mm,
need to have some bit of an explore option that could help us understand who in which category is creating content. Some bit of like bifurcation on, and
correct.
I think most of the platforms are lacking it, but some of the platforms are really doing a good job in like categorizing. How Netflix have genres. I think genres would be really
Mm,
good for LinkedIn. That's not a frustrating thing. That's just a challenge because sometimes like I discover a really amazing creator after a long time and I feel really bad because their content have like 4 or 5 posts or
mm,
five 4 or 5 likes, and engagement is really disheartening.
mm.
And also people upvoting, just seeing a popular face and not seeing the value. I
Value.
think people need
Correct.
to start giving little bit of, I feel really bad that, my picture, like a very dummy picture, get like more like, more likes and more engagement than something that I put as a value out there.
Mm, mm.
And that just like upsets me. But I think that's just cons of social media. Like you can't do anything
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
We as people just need to change our liking patterns.
Absolutely. Well said. My third question is, do you think hashtags work on LinkedIn, according to you?
Uh, I have never seen it working honestly. And if somebody want to create on LinkedIn, I would say don't stop spamming hashtags.
Yes.
LinkedIn's team, when we were in Creator Accelerator program, they have recommended us to not use more than 5 hashtags. I stick by that. I don't think
Mm,
it creates any kind of like discoverability for me as
right.
such. But I do have like one special hashtag that I use for my content, which is hashtag Meet Mrinal. And sometimes like when I want to like give somebody a preview of all my content, even though they can see on my profile, I just give them that hashtag. That way it
Mm.
works. But other than from like a discoverability point of view, I don't think it works. It doesn't work like Instagram, that's for sure.
Same perspective there. My next question is, who's your one favorite LinkedIn creator that you have to
Oh my
get?
God, you can't do that to me. You
You
just
have to name.
cannot do that to me. I have so many friends, and oh my God, I'm zoning out because I can list by category, as I said, like by category, I can list.
The top,
Um,
like whose content is absolutely up to the mark every single time.
I'll be a little biased, but also very honest. I think one of my coolest buddy and like extremely good friend, Binati Sheth. She's
Right,
amazing. If you're a writer and you're an author or you're a ghostwriter, she's the girl you should follow. I think she has been a kind of a mentor to many of us. So copywriting, Binati. Copywriting, I have like more people. I also have Anangsha in like writing. I think she's amazing, Anangsha Almer. I have always been biased towards her because she was a Quora creator
right,
as well. And then for I think for videos, Noshin, oh my God, Noshin Aichen is amazing. She really does great content. For creator economy, I have Avi Gandhi. He is just mind blowing. Um,
right,
then I also have Niall Radcliffe. He's amazing how he write about marketing and content. I have Anshuman who writes really good on quality content. I have Riddhi Sharma who writes really good on women empowerment. She's also an agency expert. She does really well. Um, Jatin and Gunur, they write really well on personal branding content. Sonia writes on podcasting. Neeti Sansare writes on podcasting. Oh my God, I'm like just naming people that I
very, very
really love.
smart
There
answer,
are just
covering everyone.
they are just really good. And you know what, like if after this live I probably will post with categories because I have like named them. I have like put people, I have put on the notification. Also
Yeah,
Sekat Paine, he has amazing you Inc. called you Inc. podcast on on Spotify. You should check him out. But like he also creates content on LinkedIn. Aditi Surana, she's really good. She is there on IG. She's there on LinkedIn. For finance, I have like Sharon Hegde, who is amazing. But also there's Sayali Rai, who does like this
right.
Sayali Ki Rai. She does like really good content. Uh, Dhairya is really good in personal brand. Rahul is there, like your own Rahul is there. So I mean, I can go on and on, folks. You will get tired. I am a LinkedIn official stalker. I've seen every region content, uh, and there's just too many people, and I'll sound very biased if I start listing them out. It's just that I really like all of them a lot. So yeah.
Absolutely, very smart answer. No one will be angry after this, for sure.
I'm sure that I'm still like missing like probably a 200 ka list. I have
Yeah,
too
and
many people
you
that
can
I
put
know
and others who
and
I've missed.
others. And like I and like, to be very honest, I think the biggest thing that I earn, a lot of people ask me like, what did you earn? I don't think it's like it's networking. I think it's just like this very solid group of people. They will just like cheer you, post you, make you feel like you are this amazing set of like people. And I cannot tell you, I have now answers for everything. I feel like I have answers for everything because I will just like reach out to those people and they'll give
Right,
me this ready-made answer and I can give it to other people. So that is what we have talked a ton about networking. This is what I mean, that you should
correct,
feel desperate of like figuring out who these people, like whom to include in the list. um,
right,
and even though they are my friends, I think more than like most of them are probably would not say I'm their friend, or maybe they would. But like I think for me they have been this guru of sorts of something, and I have learned from them a ton
right.
just by seeing their content. And on that note, like obviously Rahul, I cannot thank you. I think LinkedIn Pe Charcha is such a segue
Thank
of
you.
like talking about LinkedIn. Not to flatter you, after a long time I'm doing a LinkedIn live, so I'm sorry if I have like gone overboard to talk about
No, no, no worries. I'd actually clip this out for sure and use it on my reel and all of that. But thank you so much, genuinely. And I think the main motive, I'll be honest here, for starting this live series was first a selfish motive. I want to network. I'll be honest about that because I mean, there's no shame in accepting that. And second, if it is benefiting people as well alongside, so what's the harm in doing this session? So I think that is really, I've been fortunate that I've done 36 sessions and I'm aiming at 100 sessions. So let's see down the line.
Oh my
uh,
God, 100 session is huge. By the way, folks, if you're very reluctant, like start getting used to uh, just events. Just start
Correct.
attending more and more events. You will see us fumbling you, and you will get comfortable and start
Absolutely.
doing of your own. And like put your link, reach out to these people who are doing these events, and ask them, how can I start doing it? What
Hmm.
should I do to do it? And I have seen people doing it, and they have got ghosted. They have also got like several no's, but those who do not leave and are
Right.
persistent, they get their way. I think I probably have like cold emailed ton of like creators. I think I have like embarrassingly cold emailed Mika Malik, whom I really love for her DEI content. Uh, I never heard from her, but I still like her so much that I probably would spam message her again, because that's how shameless you have to be when you're going for networking. And as Rahul said, I think one of the things that I am trying to do is like I'm planning to do more events so that I could network, because I see the value in
Correct.
doing it.
Absolutely. So that's great, and that brings us to the end of the session. Thank you so much. It was a candid conversation, as we had planned for, and it was really insightful. To be honest, got to know a lot of new things, and I'm sure audience is watching this, and I'll also suggest people who are watching this or will be watching this afterwards. If you have not started posting content on LinkedIn, uh, this is your first content. Just take a screenshot of this, post your learnings. हाँ बोलोगे मुझे कि मार्केटर हूँ, मार्केटिंग कर रहा हूँ, but why not? And if this
Absolutely.
becomes your first post, tag us and we'll support you for sure if
Yes.
you tag us both
Yes.
in that.
100%, because we are very sales and marketing kind of people. We will
Absolutely.
we will support you for sure. And
Yes.
Rahul, thank you again so very much. I think you have conducted the session in such a beautiful way.
Thank
And
you.
also the audience, thank you so much for being patient on a Friday evening with all of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, audience. Thank you, Mrinal. And we'll see you next time. And we'll look forward to each other's content. Cheers.
Bye,
Thank you.
folks.